Business is booming like always. Welcome to the second edition of Central Side. I'm sitting down with Benjamyn Eaton for our second week here on Sports Page. How you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing pretty well, Marquis.
Now, we've got another couple questions for you guys today. Let's get started. Over the last couple of the Mules and Jennies basketball games, how do you think the teams fare, especially going into the last home stretch of the season?
Well, as you know and a lot of others know, Kyle Wolf went down in that Washburn game, and that was a huge blow. He was doing pretty well, I heard, because I didn't get to go to the game for once, and he knocked down a few threes, but later in the game he got hurt, and they ended up losing that game.
Now, that's a big blow, I feel, for the team, and they're going a big home away game right now. They got Washburn, Nebraska Kearney, Fort Hays, three teams they all lost to with a combined of only like 5 points. I think this is going to be a real test for them, especially with Kyle Wolf going down. That's one of their best players they have on the team. Do you think that they can actually make this MIAA tournament? They're sitting right now at 7th in the conference ranking.
Yeah, the MIAA is tough. We talked about that a little last time. You said how Preston Brunn said, welcome to the MIAA. And then they came back after that Washburn loss, a big loss. They let them come back in they had a huge lead, and then they went down and came back. Or Washburn came back and won that game, but then they answered with the Emporia State win.
And Kyle Wolf was out that game too. And Demaya Cunningham hasn't really been in the starting rotation. I feel like he's going to get back into that starting rotation. But let's talk about the Jennies a little bit. They're coming off another win against Emporia State as well. Do you still think that the Jennies can possibly make that way into the MIAA conference tournament, sitting at 9th right now?
I think with every game they're growing stronger with the Jennies. How kind of like the Mules, they had a few returners, just like the Jennies have a few returners. And all the new players are starting to feel for each other and know where each other's going to be. And I think Coach Slifer's figuring out that rotation every game even a little bit more.
And, you know, they got Missouri Western coming up, too. And that's one of the best teams in the nation right now, especially on the offensive side. Do you honestly think that the Jennies have a possible chance to go up against the number 1 ranked team in the nation right now?
I think they do. It will be tough to be on the road, but you just saw that game just pass. Emporia State again took them down at home, one of the top teams. And that's back-to-back years now.
You know, shout out to Shelby Winkleman as well. She's up for Point Guard of the Year right now. Hopefully she'll get that vote in and actually win that award. You know, we're all rooting for her in such ways. But do you honestly think that the Jennies and the Mules can contend for the MIAA championship title?
Well, I think so. Well, first, Shelby Winkleman, a dual sport athlete. She's been going nonstop all year. I don't know how she does it. But with the Mules and the Jennies, I think they definitely can give both teams can give a run for the money for the MIAA. And like you said, the Jennies are kind of a sleeper team, and the Mules, the teams are starting to count them out, and they can also be an underdog now.
All right. Signing day was yesterday all around the country. You know, Florida State came up with number 1 and Alabama number 2. The Mules had some key signees yesterday as well. Going as a recap from last season, they were 8-3, and I feel like next season they will be one of the top contenders for the MIAA title. What are your expectations for next year for Mules football?
I mean, this past year, a lot of people counted them out before the season. A bunch of youngsters coming in. Fugate's first career start was this past season, and his first season as the starter, and they were one of the top teams. They fell off towards the end, had struggled in the beginning, but they went on a huge run back-to-back seasons.
And then, you know, that Emporia State game, they played 3 days straight. That's just tough period with anybody. Playing one game 3 days straight, and we were up 24-0. They came back, tied it before the game got delayed. You know, they lost the game 25-28. But then the next week they had Northwest, and that was a game that they should have won. They lost by 4 points at the last second. And I honestly think that the Mules will contend to a conference title next year. They have the talent. Marquis Smith, I think he will win the running back position over Ray Harris next season.
Yeah, Ray Harris is going to come back, and I know he's been working nonstop, day in and day out. I've talked to him a lot, and he's just ready to go. I saw him on the sideline. He might have been able to come back at the end of the season, but he didn't want to miss some of the games this coming season, so he just decided to call it quits last season and come back better and stronger.
And I feel like, you know, they had Marquis Smith as a freshman coming in and he got so much experience coming in, and, you know, he built that roll up, and he's going to be so good next year. And then you have Justice coming back off that ACL injury. So I think the Mules are really going to be a really good team next year. Yeah, I really do.
Led by Fugate. And you said signing day was the other day. Watch out for a guy. He might redshirt. Hopefully not, because I want to watch him. Kobe Wilkerson out of Warrensburg. I called the games this year. And this guy is more than electric. If you want to compare him to someone in the D1 level, D'Anthony Thomas, maybe you go back to – he's an offensive weapon. He played running back for the Warrensburg Tigers, but he's just going to be a weapon all over the field.
I saw him play against Pleasant Hill also this year, and I think that was a great pickup by the Mules. And right now we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Central Side here on the UCM Media Network.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she's actually not a morning person. I know she does strange tricks for no treats. I know that water makes her howl like crazy. I even know how the floor stays so clean. She's quick. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
I choose red to blaze my own trail.
I choose red to be with students and faculty who make me feel at home.
I wanted a university with a big picture perspective. That's why I chose red.
Why do you choose red?
Choose red.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri. Choose red. Can I do that? Is that allowed?
And we're back with more Central Side here on the UCM Media Network. We're talking about NFL right now. Now, earlier this week, my roommate texted me and he told me that we would try to get Peyton Manning to come to L.A. The Rams just moved to L.A. What do you think about that? You know, Peyton Manning, we keep hearing these stories about him retiring after the Super Bowl, and now we might see him come back, and the Rams are considering picking him up. What do you think about that?
What team's in L.A.?
This guy, here we go. The Rams,
Oh,
L.A. Rams.
Okay, I forgot they left St. Louis. No, but I'll be for real now. Peyton Manning going to L.A., well, I don't even see Peyton Manning living in Los Angeles. I don't take him as that type of guy. 2, I don't see him going to the Rams. And 3, I think he's done.
Skip Bayless said that the Rams will be one of the top contenders next year. Do you believe that? Because I do. I'm a fan. This is my favorite team now.
You do believe it. You want to believe it is what you should
It will
say.
happen. It will happen.
All right. Well, that's pretty bold of you. I think you guys had a better chance of staying in St. Louis than getting Peyton Manning.
I've witnessed a Super Bowl in my lifetime as St. Louis was as the Rams in St. Louis. I mean, Chiefs, you guys will get there eventually. Just saying.
Kind of like the Royals, right?
Oh, good. We'll talk about that another day. But the Raiders are talking about moving to Las Vegas. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's a good fit because Las Vegas is more like a tourist attraction, and I don't see it as a football city. I see it as more. You could put an NBA team there, not an NFL team. But that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't know. For some reason, it seems like that's more basketball. I know they have the summer league there already for NBA, but a football team just kind of seems weird. But UNLV, they're talking about Raiders not NFL team not going to Vegas because of the betting and all that. Some trouble might come, like a Pete Rose type of deal. And I don't know. It's just kind of scary. But UNLV's been doing good. They said that there's nothing going wrong with.
And
those
before that, they were talking about Raiders possibly going to San Antonio. What do you think about that one? That might be a better fit, I feel like, but I don't know why they would go that far out to Texas.
2 black and gray teams, 2 boring teams in San Antonio. Spurs and the Raiders.
You think the Spurs are boring?
I mean, kind of. As a basketball fan, no, but a lot of people say
I think the Spurs are probably the top team to beat Golden State in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I don't want to get too far in the NBA since we're talking about the NFL.
And then also got a couple hours ago, the NFL announced that the Raiders and the Texans will have a game in Mexico City next year. That's part of the whole trying to get a developmental team down there and expanding the league, London and Mexico City. What do you think about that in the upcoming future, expanding to 2 teams to one of those places?
I think there's a better chance to go to a team going to London, but I think that's a worse, well, maybe not viewership-wise, but for teams to travel to London and London teams to travel here, Mexico City is obviously way closer, and I think that's a better idea, and I think that's why they may be testing it out.
I mean, they had a lot of games in London this year. So I think London would be a better fit. That's what I would think. And we're going to talk about Super Bowl. We talked about Super Bowl predictions last week. Today we're going to talk about media, and we're also the halftime show and some commercials. What are you hoping for this weekend when it comes to the halftime performance?
Well, with the halftime performance, I know that has to do with a few. We talked about Las Vegas prop bets. I don't bet anything. I just find it funny. Heads or tails, what's the coin flip going to be? How long is the halftime show going to be? But Coldplay, I don't know if we might be losing viewers again because I don't like Coldplay. I don't really listen to them.
Do you think Beyonce going to turn the lights out again this halftime show?
Yeah, I think she might because I remember her performance. I remember Usher's performance, 2 really good performances at halftime.
And as 2 media students, going into media day, if you were there, what would be the questions you would ask some of the players? Like if it was me, I would ask Cam Newton, what does he actually think about the whole like Twitter thing that's happening with him wearing a beanie and hoodie to interviews and Peyton Manning wearing a suit. What is his mind on with that? What does he think?
I don't really know what he would think, but I think I would be more of asking a funny questions, kind of have the light in the mood. You saw that some guys were asking Cam Newton some like deep questions, and he kind of tried to back away sort of from it because it's one of the best times of their life.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of want to lighten the mood a bit. And also, I want to toss it real quick. I know you don't want to talk about the Royals World Series trophies coming to town at the Multi this Monday, and this might not air
This
before.
guy's
after.
trying to advertise himself on this show. I know you're gonna be live from the Multi.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I was going to say anything.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna wear some Cardinals gear. I'm gonna walk around with a camera and interview people. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, you do that, and I'll just give you a bad shout out.
No,
on here.
all I can say is congratulations to you guys again. Just wait another 30 years because it ain't happening. I got the Cubs winning this year. The Cubs are gone.
Said a Cardinals fan, but
We lost against the Cubs this year in the playoffs, and I think they're gonna be the top team.
all right, you just got kicked out of your guys' own bandwagon, probably.
Oh my God, I'm not on bandwagon. I'm just saying I'm not gonna be biased right now. I love the Cardinals. If they can make the World Series, of course I'm gonna root for them. That's my team. But if I had to literally think at all the teams right now in the MLB right now, I think the Cubs have the strongest roster.
And yeah, spring training's coming up. Pitchers and catchers are going to report. We kind of like transitioned
I
into
know.
baseball.
That was your fault.
Okay, I'll take the blame because I'm just ready for another Royals World Series,
All
a
right.
trophy coming next year as well.
All right, final question. Any Super Bowl commercials that you're looking forward to, if you even know any right now?
I mean, they're all pretty good, and I'm expecting probably there has to be a Cam Newton commercial coming. He's been in a few lately, and there just has to be those players involved. A Peyton Manning and Cam Newton commercial, maybe. That would be pretty interesting.
That would be interesting. All right, that does it for the second edition of The Central Side. I'm Marquis Jones. He's Benjamyn Eaton. See you guys next week.